look. So we play d4, d6, and we turn the game into Pirc defense. Bishop d3. Well, actually, I think knight c3 is like more common than bishop d3 because we could potentially put the bishop at g2. So yeah, I mean, compare with a knight, a bishop is more flexible to be placed. So I would hold moving the bishop for a bit of time. So maybe we can move the knight first, and we can decide. Maybe we move the bishop to c4, or maybe the bishop to g2, or maybe move it to d3. So bishop d3, it's not a big problem. It's just a way we can like change the orders to move pieces, or choose which piece to prioritize. Knight f3, e5. Well, so the thing is, I don't think we need to accept the exchange, because if we take the pawn, black will take that. It doesn't give us any good thing, and also the bishop is quite blocked between the two pawns. So if I play white, I will wait. So we don't need to rush accepting the pawn, because let's say if we castle, if black take our pawn, we can move the knight to the center, and we have a quite strong center pawn. Black has a d6 pawn, and it's really hard for the pawn to be pushed up. Or maybe you can play c3 if black can take that with our c pawn. So we have a quite strong like pawns at the center. So we don't have to accept the pawn exchange, in my opinion. Take knight c3, developing pieces. That's good. c6, castle, bishop e7, bishop e3, develop pieces. Rook e1. Well, so now I think we have developed all the minor piece. There is an open file, and black has a castle. So we need to think about where should we start our attack. For example, should we attack on the center, or should we attack on the king side, or should we attack on the queen side? So rook e1, the purpose is to, I think, is to protect the e4, but actually the e4 is quite solid already, and I don't think there is expectation that e5 will be opened up. So rook e1, I don't think that has much like sense to make that, if I put it this way. So maybe we can move the rook to d1. So maybe queen to e2 and rook to d1 to control the d file. And what I feel is maybe we can attack the queen side, because we have very good like bishop pair aiming at the b file at the queen side, and also black has a bit slow development at the queen side. So maybe you can attack on the queen side. So rook e1, queen d2, g5. So black is really quick to attack our king side. Yeah, so I think now it's we need to decide like which side we need to attack, or which like in which side we need to push the pawn to create more open files. So maybe rook b1, b4, b5 to open up the queen side, or maybe you can do something at the center. We play bishop c4 to a bit open up center. That's good. And yeah, I agree. Bishop c4 is better than d3. It's open. Rook d1, knight g6. So black is going to push the pawn to do g4. Queen c1. Yeah, or queen e2. So c1 is a bit awkward. g4, knight d2, g3. Well, so when we defend, if we don't have to, I will recommend not pushing our pawn, because the more like we push our pawn, it actually become more easy for our opponent to create the pawn break. And I don't think, I don't also think black will push the pawn to G3. Maybe we can move the knight to F1 and knight to G3. And you know what? There's an outpost. So our knight can target at like F5. So I think knight F1 is the better move than G3. And yeah, so black actually will push the pawn to H4. So it's a bit like scary if the H5 is opened. So if we can, maybe we need to speed up attack the queen side and also defend the king side. Look, D2 is quite good. Take, bishop F2. What is the reason move the bishop to F2? I don't see any reason to move here, to be honest. So what I'm thinking is maybe we can move knight to C5 to attack the bishop. And you know what? Since we attacked the bishop, the knight F6 knight cannot really go. And also we can move double the other rook to, yeah, adding pressure to attack the queen side. So we have to attack instead of only like defending the king side. And if black take, we can take. So the bishop is quite strong. And maybe bishop d6 can attack the queen. So yeah, I would consider knight c5. The bishop f2, long castle. Rook e2. So we are defending basically. But yeah, how can we defend this file? Bishop e1. And black offer a bishop exchange. That's an interesting move. Maybe it just to move the bishop because it's been targeted. And we take that. a4. We are trying to attack. Rook f h6. This move is quite interesting. I don't see the reason moving the... Oh, maybe I see. Knight to h7, knight to g5. That's actually quite wise to maneuver the knight. If knight reaches g5, that's really annoying. a5, we're also trying to attack. Bishop to b4, queen to a1, take, knight to h... Yeah, this is what I said. Knight to g5. And we move the queen, knight to g5. Yeah, that's really hard for us to defend, I think. How can we defend knight f3? So knight c5, check, we lose rook, rook h5, bishop e3. Yeah, we use the bishop to defend. Queen f7. Yeah, there's f3. Rook g2. Queen to e7. Okay, queen to e7 is a bit strange. So maybe the queen can reach to f3. Take, check. Oh, you know what? I think black can sacrifice. If the rook takes, queen f3, that's a checkmate. If bishop takes, we can check, and the rook has to block it, and we sacrifice again. That's a very beautiful checkmate. And black didn't realize it. Yeah, so very fortunate for us. Queen e7, queen b4. Yeah, we are trying to attack the queen side. Yeah, so attack is a good way to defend. So, that's a problem. That's a blunder, I think. So black doesn't do anything actually. The rook can go to the d file, and black has piece material advantage. So black is a bit, I don't know, and making the bad decision. Yeah, that's a checkmate. That's good. That's a very beautiful counter attack from us. So when the rook reaches to h6, so if we figure out the next move for black, or next plan for black, is to move knight to h7. I'm thinking, how can we defend this this plan? That maybe we need to think about the knight. For example, rook g2 or rook d3. Is that... Oh, knight h7. Move the rook to g2 and the knight go to g5. Okay, maybe we can take the pawn. We can take the g4 pawn. We don't need to move the rook to d3. So yeah, rook g. Actually, we can play rook g2, and if the knight goes h7, we can take the pawn. This is once I take the pawn, we can take e6, and if this pawn is removed, these two squares are no longer weakness because it's really hard for the knight to be placed at these two squares. The g4 is a really powerful piece if we can take that. So yeah, so if we figure out the purpose of rook h6, we won't like move the queen. I think once the queen goes to like this a1, yeah, h7 and g5 is really hard to defend. So I think we move the queen to a1 because we're afraid to lose the pawn, right? Yeah, but if we protect the pawn, our queen is far away from our king. Yeah. So I feel like this position is critical. If we don't push the pawn g3, black is really hard to open up the h file. Maybe we need to move the knight to f1. I think, for example, with pawn being pushed, we can still play knight g3. If pawn pushed here, we can play knight f5. If that take, so the king is stay at the center. It's really hard. It's really difficult for black. It's really dangerous for black to open up the e file. And also the d5 is controlled. The king cannot really castle. So the knight, where should he go? If that go f4, we can take that, and the bishop is really awkward. It's pinned, and we can move knight to protect attack the pawn, or move the rook to attack the pawn. And you know what? It's actually really hard for black to open up our king side. So for example, let's just make a random move at a4, and if I put g3, we can probably play. We don't have to take the pawn. Maybe knight e4. If that takes, we can take that, or we can even play king h1. So we can use the black pawn to block the h file. So yeah, don't put our pawn too early, because that will make our opponent like easier to open up the file. And once the h file is open, and we see the problem, right?